They are two short words that are often oh so hard to say. I'm sorry. Now the world's greatest golfer, Tiger Woods, is issuing his mea culpa to family, friends, and fans. But he's certainly not the first A-lister to have to do it. Fox's Jonathan Hunt has more from New York. And from the water cooler to the radio, Woods' affair is the talk of the town. Just ask Fox 26's Isaiah Carey. An immigration bust ends with more than 24 people in custody. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents raided 2 Mambo seafood restaurants and the corporate headquarters this morning. ICE says the 31 people taken into custody were in the country illegally.
Montgomery County has charged Arcade Como and has issued a warrant for his arrest.
It was in Conroe where Como pulled a gun on 2 guards, stole their guns, and kidnapped them. Fox 26's Donnelly Keith has the latest. They're small, colorful, and shaped like candy.
It looks like a vitamin for kids.
But you wouldn't want your child near these pills. The Texas traffic stop uncovers drugs shaped like popular figures, including the president. And a fight breaks out after a national election. One country's new president gets off to a shaky start.
Oh, welcome to the C Block, where we take an interesting look at some interesting stories from around the country and around the world. And we were talking about the mayor's race in Houston getting a little ugly.
Sure.
They haven't seen anything like what's going on in Argentina.
And if you think Barack Obama has it rough, take a look at this. Argentina's new president got a warm welcome from lawmakers, as you can see. You know, throwing chairs, breaking glass doors, general mayhem.
That's all?
Yeah.
That's the welcome for the new administration there, the member of the opposition party, and there was a lot of opposition going on.
Apparently in that room there is.
His election. Can we all just get along? Well,
I guess we can.
If we follow the lead of some cute animals, you know, it might be a little inspiring for us.
Yeah, you've never probably seen a mouse stacked upon a cat stacked upon a dog, I'm guessing. But this is what one man in Fort Worth does to try to drive home the point that, hey, if they can get along, we should all be able to get along.
Peace activist, that's what he is.
That's what he is, and boy, pictures speak louder than words on this, don't they? Okay, still ahead, the Texas drug bust that netted ecstasy pills shaped to look like Barack Obama.
But first, pictures of the greatest generation, a local art show we think you'll like. That's coming up in our next segment.
Plus, Fox 26 chief meteorologist Dr. Jim Siebert is on the way with that Fox Red storm seeker forecast.
And Dr. Jim joins us now with the forecast, and we hear you have some great stuff for us.
This is video
tonight.
the way you're basically going to say this could be you in a day or so.
It could be with all the stars coming to alignment. It could be, but this is what it was like up in Dallas. Check this out.
Wow,
that's
beautiful.
Snow. Doesn't that just make you feel the holiday spirit? It does for me.
It is Glee night. You know what that means.
That's right. That means we have some local kids who know their music.
Count the bells, sweet summer bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing you cheer.
The show choir from Northland Christian School, strutting its stuff. That's coming up in our next segment. Ecstasy pills in the shape of President Barack Obama are found during a drug bust in South Texas. A traffic stop in Palmview uncovered black tar heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and ecstasy pills inside the car. Police say the pills were made in bright colors that look like Homer Simpson, the Smurfs, and even President Obama. The driver, needless to say, was arrested.
Time now for Fox Entertainment, and we hope you love the Fox show Glee as much as we do.
Well, of course you do, and we love it so much we do a story on a different local show choir every week on Wednesday nights. This week, it's the Northland Christian School Select 16 Choir.
Jingle bells.
I love performing and finally getting it down.
What is the worst thing about choir?
Moms!
That was great.
Yeah, of course, that was the dry wit of Ruben Dominguez handling the microphone there.
That's right, and the students, they were really good. They'll be
were.
performing at Dickens on the Strand on Galveston Island.
And of course, that holiday tradition takes place this weekend. Don't miss it. And we're talking mittens and all kinds of coats.
Because it's going to be chilly, and we keep
cold.
hearing about it. But before we get to Jim, I got to know, Did you sing in choir? I know you can
did.
sing.
Yeah.
And so did I.
I did.
So 3 singers up here from the high school choir.
Don't
So we
expect
can
much,
do
though.
a little something. All right, so tell us a little bit about what can we expect? Can you sing the forecast for us?
I am
Jim?
not going to sing the forecast, but it's going to be cocoa weather this weekend. How about that?
Ned Hibberd is here now with a real-life drama, Ned.
They were an odd couple to begin with, Don and Melinda. When things went bad, they went bad in the most bizarre way. And it happened in an East Texas town called Carthage.
It's called 38 on Swap Shop. Hi.
Hi, Mark.
Hi there.
I have a camper shell for a long bed pickup. It's all aluminum with windows, and I'm asking $50.
Carthage may be small, but it likes to think big.
As a matter of fact, we were the best little town in East Texas one year, Carthage.
The football team won 3 state championships in a row.
We have Texas Country Music Hall of Fame, brings in some celebrities sometimes.
They're inducted under the broad bronze brim of a smiling Tex Ritter.
Waiting just for you.
KGAS 104.3 FM, your sports beat station.
And Carthage claims Major League pitcher Philip Umber, who threw an ultra-rare perfect game less than 2 weeks ago.
Now the Texas Rangers, they're going to be taking on the New York Yankees.
KGAS Radio's Mark Bounds got the post-game interview.
He said President Obama called me, but I'm more ecstatic to get a call from you, Mark. Maybe he was just, fluffing my feathers.
But all fluffing aside,
I wouldn't live anywhere else.
And yet when Hollywood came calling, they only wanted to talk about one thing, that sordid chapter in Carthage history that locals call...
Most of them just call it the TD case.
The Bernie TD story, the Bernie thing, the Bernie situation.
People may have been perplexed about 30-something mortuary man Bernie Tiede and his relationship with an 80-year-old widow named Marjorie Nugent. But if you'd asked the townfolk about Bernie, even after the fact, they'd say...
Well, he was very nice.
Bernie is a likable fella.
He sang in the choir.
He was active in his church.
He could preach wonderful sermons.
At first, people just couldn't believe it.
But our story really begins here in this cemetery back in 1990. It was at the burial of Marjorie Nugent's husband, Rod, that the funeral director, Bernie, made his move.
I'm told that it was a chilly day and that he offered Ms. Nugent his coat, and she invited him back to the house.
Bernie moved in and began stepping out with the wealthy widow. Cruises, Hong Kong, Vegas, and big balances on the American Express.
He resigned from the funeral home to become her traveling companion and bookkeeper.
And the strange relationship worked for a while.
I guess his greed, made him snap. That's the oldest motive since the beginning of time.
Now, it's no secret around Carthage that Marjorie Nugent didn't have many friends, except for her best buddy, Bernie.
Probably Ms. Nugent felt like she had bought and paid for Bernie.
He had explained to us that he couldn't take her being so possessive over him, that he just couldn't take it anymore.
So, one November day in 1996, Marjorie became kind of hard to get a hold of, at least according to Bernie.
She's with her sister, she's at the Mayo Clinic.
But in reality, Bernie had put his possessive pal on ice.
During this time that she was in the freezer, he was spending all her money.
And not just on himself. Bernie's said to have showered the townspeople with gifts.
Houses, clothing, automobiles, jet skis, scholarships.
Nobody much missed Ms. Nugent, apparently. It took 9 months until her sprawling home was searched. The crime scene photos tell the story. A deep freeze unit taped shut. It was a Panola County Sheriff's deputy who found Marjorie wrapped in a sheet from Land's End.
He walked up, he raised the freezer, removed the sheet, and discovered Ms. Nugent's body.
She was sandwiched between the flounder and the chicken pot pies, but the most obvious suspect was also the most generous.
And most people could not believe that he was capable of murder.
You're as cold as ice.
And of course, Bernie Tiede had a reasonable explanation, but under questioning, he crumbled.
Finally, Bernie said, "All right, I shot her."
In the garage, 4 times in her back.
He drug her body to the freezer, took some of the food out, put her body in, and put food on top of her.
And that's how Marjorie Nugent traveled to the Dallas Medical Examiner, still in the freezer, powered by a generator in the bed of a pickup.
I think it was 2 days for her to thaw before they did the autopsy.
Which provided plenty of evidence, says Panola County DA Danny Buck Davidson. Throw in Bernie's statement to police, and the cops had him cold.
As we got into the trial and people realized Bernie had confessed, public opinion swung the other way.
Now, Danny Buck didn't know it then, but in the crowd at the courthouse where Bernie Tiede was sentenced to life in prison, a young Texas film director named Richard Linklater.
Danny, he said, "You don't remember, but I was with you, and the newspapers were asking you, well, how can you prosecute Bernie? Because the people in the town thought he was such an angel." And said, "You said, he's an angel, all right, an angel of death." He said, "I thought that was so cool, I was going to put it in my movie."
Everybody's describing Bernie Tiede as an angel.
The nicest fella I've ever met.
He didn't do it. He's an angel, all right. An angel of death.
That dog don't hunt.
Jack Black.
Which brings us to Bernie, the movie. It opened last weekend, but not necessarily in a theater near Carthage.
Very lonely person. She needs someone.
We're kind of resentful of it, you know, but that's my personal opinion.
Once again, in this town of 6,700 souls, folks are split over Bernie.
It's entertaining.
Room service.
I didn't tell you it was historically correct, but it is entertaining.
And it certainly proves, as if we needed more proof, that truth is indeed stranger than fiction.
Someone has been caught on camera fertilizing the parking lot of the Houston Press with human feces. Ned Hibberd is here live now with the scoop. Ned?
Yeah, got it right here, Melinda. Hope I don't have to use it, but I'm going to tell you something about this pooper. He is pretty prolific. If you don't believe me, get a load of this. Just when you thought it was safe to back into your reserved spot, it seems a serial squatter has been leaving his mark in the Midtown parking lot of the Houston Press.
I just walked out and I saw that and I couldn't tell what it was, and then I saw flies on it, so I was like, okay, flies on.
A sound deduction, which was reinforced by photographic proof, apparently catching the pooper in the act. This picture was taken from the ExxonMobil building across the street. A coworker showed it to PC Douglas. It's his SUV that had been mistaken for a porta potty.
And she came up to me and she said, "PC, is this your car?" And I was looking at it, and then I realized that there was a guy doing his business.
It could have been worse. It could have been on the top of my car.
According to Houston Press staffers like Craig Lavati, this is the 3rd or 4th time this week someone has perpetrated a number 2 in the parking lot.
And now I'm also worried for my safety.
So you're watching where you're stepping?
I'm watching where I'm stepping. I'm wearing closed-toed shoes. I got my best Vans on today. No sandals from now on.
A crew was dispatched to disinfect the disgusting droppings, but a telltale smudge remains. Wait a minute, that's a pine cone. It's over here. Don't zoom in.
I have to step over it every day.
So it brings back trauma.
Not exactly, but...
Okay, not exactly trauma, but Houston Press employees won't rest easy until the poopatrator is put where he belongs, right? How bad do you want to catch this miscreant?
Not really bad at all, because I like the attention.
Yeah, I'd say this crime spree has attracted the attention of Houston police, but it hasn't. However, if you would like to try your hand at identifying this fellow, be my guest. We're linking to the images on our Seen on TV page.